This is Roger Struckoff with Syscon TV. We're at day 2 of CloudEXPO West in Silicon Valley in the year 2015, whether we like it or not. And we're joined right now by Esmeralda Swartz with Ericsson. What we were talking about before the camera ran was what we've seen in the last few months, and just in the last few months, is a whole lot of people who realize that the world has become interconnected in a way that's moved more quickly than maybe they thought. And right now, their bosses and their organizations are telling them, well, go figure it out. So I think a lot of people are coming to Ericsson and coming to you going, what now? What do we do? And welcome, by the way.
Yeah, thank you very much, Roger. It's always great being here. This has become a must-do show for us, and this year is no different. I think what we see is what happens when you have a completely networked society, and the potential to now drive the value creation and the collaboration and the ecosystems that are possible when you start to be able to connect people and industries together in ways that have never been possible before.
Could you give the audience a little bit of background on yourself, how your company was acquired by Ericsson and what you did before that and the relevance of it? Because I think people may need a little more nuanced understanding of what Ericsson is bringing to the table with the IoT.
Sure. So we were actually part of a company in the monetization space, a company called Metrotech, and we were providing monetization software to enterprises, many that were looking at cloud and IoT models, and how do you basically make money off of this robust ecosystem. So once we were acquired by Ericsson, we actually fit pretty nicely into their own strategy of what is now possible when you have again that network society and the ability to look at new business models, and how do you monetize those new business models, particularly when they're across and in between different industries.
And meanwhile, back to the semi-geeky side anyway, data is doubling like every 3 years. I just saw a presentation from a person who had it doubling more quickly than that. He had it quadrupling in 5 years. So what do we do about the infrastructure? It seems like the infrastructure may actually hold up, but there's enormous amounts of, and most of this data is unstructured. What are people going to do about this, and what can you help them?
Right. Well, I think we all recognize that data is just data if it's not translated into something meaningful for a subscriber. And I think that we are in this glut where there's a lot of data, and the amount of analytics that needs to be applied to it to turn it into something meaningful is really where the opportunity lies for IoT. Data is the new currency in the IoT space, and everyone's trying to figure out how do they package it up in a contextual way where it's going to be meaningful to prospective buyers in a marketplace.
Now, you're one of these people that, you can see the big picture and all the details at the same time. Ericsson, clearly one of those companies that can see really big picture stuff. Well, yesterday we were sitting on a panel and talking about the IoT, and actually the thinking that emerged from that was, okay, it's okay if you see the big picture, but don't think too big at first. Even if you're doing a smart cities initiative, start something you can chew, or how would you say?
Yeah, we call that crawl, walk, and run. Just like any big transformation, it's important that you pick the project where you're going to succeed, that allows you to understand what needs to be done before you move on to the next thing. In the smart city context, we have many of our customers that are looking at how do they get started. Clearly, there's a massive infrastructure cost and investment that needs to be put in place to just upgrade a smart city, or upgrade an infrastructure in a smart city to be able to then derive all these new services that benefit digital citizens, businesses, and government. So we work with many of our customers to talk to them about what is that logical starting point. So in some cases it might be a smart home or a smart building on the path to a wider smart city data marketplace.
How do you calm them down? You have people that are there that now feel like they really have to grab a hold and get into this, but at the same time you don't want them to fail.
And I think that that's actually well understood by the customers that we talk to. They want those success stories that they can go back and demonstrate that it's worth additive investment to then move further into an IoT strategy. So they all know that they need to be there, but they need to demonstrate those small wins before moving on to bigger projects. And so that fail fast.
You got me thinking here. I was thinking about, I saw your presentation, and it seems like now, and I want you to talk a little bit about this, about connected cars and connected vineyards. And I was thinking you could take the connected car to the connected vineyard, and it'll drive you home if you stay too long.
Yes. And I think this is what's interesting is just to see the impact on industries that are converging, that were once completely unrelated, but you can see how they are crossing over. And I think that the reason that I talked about the smart vineyard was that first of all, it resonates with the average person, but it also speaks to the potential of IoT and technology in the broader role it has to play in smart agriculture, and how do you drive, for example, increased food production to deal with population growth that continues on its pace.
That's a very serious issue. I mean, the world population may peak in a few years at around 9 billion. Still a lot of people to feed. Now, I'm one of the world's worst drivers, so I have the insurance rates of a 16-year-old, And you had said something about the connected cars of some astounding number of vehicles that you think are going to be in place.
So I think whether you believe that it's this high but it's a big number. So by 2020, the projections are that you're going to see 230 million connected cars, and that's astounding if you think about the potential then for the types of services that are now possible from in the vehicle to both the driver as well as to others around that connected car ecosystem that want to have access to some of the data coming from the connected car.
And the connected car ecosystem, if you're not driving it, the connected car ecosystem is sort of your life, right?
Yes.
Wine, your shopping, your healthcare.
The one example that I think again just touches the average person is the example that with Volvo, one of our customers, and they launched a pilot called Volvo Roam, which is basically bringing delivery of your groceries to your parked car anywhere where that car happens to be. So think about that impact just in not having to wait around for the delivery guy to show up at the door, and the amount of times that they have to come back if you're not home. It's just a very simple application, but you can start to see the potential for what that can translate to.
So everyone's individual project may be small, but you take them collectively in a grand scale, and big efficiencies start to come. Now, Ericsson's a large company. Everyone knows how to go to Ericsson.com, but once they're there, how can they drill down to really find out what you're doing and what your team is doing?
Yeah, so if you go to the Ericsson.com site, we of course support a variety of industries from our operator customers as well as industry and society. And industry and society are basically all of the industries that I highlighted in the session today, ranging from smart transport to e-health to the connected car, which is part of the transport, utilities, a range of industries that have, again, the same requirement for a connectivity layer and networks that make it possible for then that big transformation that takes advantage of cloud and IoT technologies.
Wonderful. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for watching. For Syscon TV, this is Roger Struckhoff.